what is a real estate syndication and why it beats owning rentals. This is the next video in the Passive Investing 101 for Dentists playlist. Are you curious about investing in real estate, but the idea of managing tenants, getting late night calls, or fixing leaky, stinky toilets just makes you want to run the other way? Then let me introduce you to one of the most powerful yet misunderstood tools for building passive income and wealth: real estate syndications. For those of you I haven't met yet, I'm Dr. Johnny Walker, aka Jonathan Withanachi. I'm the founder of Walk of Wealth, and I used to think the only way to invest in real estate was to buy single family rentals, deal with tenants, and become a landlord. But as a busy dentist working 45 plus hours a week, I didn't have time to do that in scale. That's when I discovered syndications, and it completely changed the game. A syndication is when a group of investors pool their money to buy a large real estate asset, like an apartment building complex, self-storage portfolio, or medical office buildings. Really, a syndication can pool money and invest in just about anything. You, as the limited partner, or a LP, puts in capital. The general partner, or the GP, also referred to as the sponsor or the sponsorship team, does the work of finding the deal, securing financing, managing the property, and executing the business plan. You, as the limited partner, are not a landlord. You're not answering calls. You're truly a passive investor. Now, as a limited partner, here's what you get. 1, cash flow, and that's usually paid monthly or quarterly. 2, equity upside. When the property is sold or refinanced, if there is a profit, then you get a percentage of that profit. Number 3, tax benefits. Things like depreciation and paper losses are all things that an LP gets to participate in. Number 4, hands-off investing. There is no property management stress. There is no operational involvement at all. In fact, you are deferring to third-party professionals' expertise to handle that part of it. But you, as an LP, you get the benefits of owning real estate without the burden of managing the real estate. Now, I started out buying single family homes as investment. After running them for a few years, I ran the numbers. I factored in the time, the management, the liability, and the amount of hair that I lost. I used to have a full head of hair, I promise you, at one point. And I realized that there's no way I can do this while practicing full time and trying to be a present and loving father to my children and husband to my wife, and build a scalable investment portfolio. That's when I did my first limited partner deal, and I invested in a 142 unit apartment building, a value add Class B apartment building in Birmingham, Alabama, and I invested $100,000. My experience? I started receiving checks quarterly. I also got a huge tax write-off that year. And that's when the light bulb went off. All right, let's compare syndications versus owning a rental. Now, in a syndication where you're investing as an LP, you're a limited partner, so your role is limited to investing capital, versus a rental property. Now, look at the time commitment in LP. It maybe takes 1 to 5 hours to vet a deal, right? To look over the merits of a deal and on the paperwork and the offerings. Whereas in a rental, you have ongoing management. Every month you're collecting rent. Every hour you're on call if tenants have problems. Let's take a look at tax benefits. You get bonus depreciation in both, right? So you can still get the depreciation as an LP as well as a GP, right? So here as an LP, you can still get very high depreciation. And let's look at the liability. Liability is much lower in a syndication versus owning rental. You're not taking on, you're not personally signing for loans, right? You're not taking on any personal liability. You're not taking on any liability other than your capital invested as an LP. Whereas if you own a rental property, the liability is much higher. Okay, next let's talk about return, right? So the targeted returns in a syndication are 12 to 18%. This is what the target, right? Whereas in a passive investment, it is highly variable, right? You may do very well, you may not do very well, depends on the management, depends on how well you buy the property, depends on a lot of different factors. Let's talk about scalability. Investing passively doesn't require much of your time, which makes the process highly scalable. If you have sold your practice, or you have had a large equity event, or you have a large amount of savings, maybe a large chunk of money sitting in your retirement accounts, once you've learned the process of investing in syndication, you can quickly scale into many, many investments and build income and wealth very quickly, because the time involvement is very limited. Whereas with rentals, huge time bottlenecks. With single properties, with each property, you have to keep looking for a property, you have to find it, you have to get financing, you have to buy it, find the next one, try to manage multiple properties. It becomes very, very unscalable. I personally got to the point that I had 10 properties that I was managing or asset managing, and I had reached a max, right, in terms of bandwidth. Once I understood this side-by-side comparison of syndications versus rentals, and I knew my goals of what I wanted to get out of real estate investing, which is all the stuff I talked about, it was an easy decision as to what kind of investor I wanted to be. Now, I thought only the ultra wealthy could do these deals. Nope. Many investments in syndication start in the $50,000 to $100,000 range to invest. You don't need millions. You don't even need hundreds of thousands of dollars to get started. Myth number 2, I don't want to lose control. Isn't that the whole point? You give up control of the property, but in return you gain your time and peace of mind. I don't know how to vet these deals. Well, guess what, guys? That's what the communities like Walk of Wealth are for. That's what this channel is for. We teach you how to evaluate sponsors, how to evaluate business plans, markets, and risks, how to gain access to these deals. Now, for dentists and any business owner with a high income, any high income professional for that matter, lawyers, doctors, accountants, architects, time is the most precious resource. You already trade hours for income. Why would you trade more hours managing real estate or managing another business just to chase more income? Syndications, passive investing, lets you grow wealth passively and on your own terms. They turn money into time, and that's what we're really after. So if you're ready to ditch the stress of landlording and start building a scalable, tax-advantaged income stream while staying focused on what you do best, this is your path. All right, that does it for this video in our 8-part Passive Investing 101 series. In the next video, we're diving into oil and gas investing and how it can help you offset even W-2 or 1099 income. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and be the first to watch when it drops. And if you want to invest alongside us in deals just like the ones we're talking about with first access and coaching, click the link below to learn more about the Walk of Wealth Mastermind. Let's build real freedom together.